Well, thank you everybody for joining today's Match Day -2 media availability with head coach BJ Callaghan ahead of this weekend's match with Charlotte FC. Coach, team is heading to North Carolina, looking to win its second straight road match. If you want to start just by sharing how training has gone this week and what you expect to see Saturday.
Yeah, good week of training. Obviously we're dealing with some of the weather here through the Nashville area, but the guys have responded well. The staff's responded well, so been able to get the exact preparation in that we need. Going to Charlotte is a great challenge and opportunity for us. It's a very difficult place to play. They have great crowd support, in the stadium. So we expect a great crowd, and that'll be a challenge for us. And then you add on that it's a very good team. Charlotte is a team that it's very hard to find weaknesses in all phases of the game. They're well organized, well coached, have attacking talent that can hurt you in transition. Set pieces, both offensively and defensively, very good. Very hard team defensively to break down. So, a team that we're preparing hard for, and it'll be a great challenge.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Lauren and go ahead and ask 2 questions if you have them.
I'll stick with the weather topic just off the top and then get to football. But what was it like for you last night? I'm not sure how closely you've experienced tornado warnings and sirens on our phones and things of that nature.
I can say that other than the other night when it happened, this is certainly a new experience for myself personally. But I think first and foremost, we always want to protect our players, our staff's families, and them at home and as people. And so, making sure that we're communicating and checking that, make sure everybody's okay, is first and foremost. Then the next part is, can we safely get into the facility? When should we get into the facility? And I thought, as a group, we talk about responding all the time, and we had to. A lot of tired bodies, a lot of people. I would say 12, maybe midnight was the first sort of feeling. So a lot of guys, haven't, I would say, sporadically sleeping throughout the night. But most importantly, I think everyone got through it back here in training today, and had a good training session, good spirits. Gives everybody a lot to talk about in the cafeteria and in the meetings. So, I would say the best part about it is it's an opportunity for all of us to bond around, what I would say a stressful time, and brings our group even closer together.
And how would you describe kind of the flow going from those 3 wins to, a really tough result in the last match and a lot of quality chances, and how the group is kind of rebounding from that?
Yeah, I think we try to, post-game, win, lose, draw, we try to evaluate it in a really consistent way. And when we win, we try to not get too high, and when we don't get the result that we want, we don't get too low. We know it's an early season, we're early in the season, it's a long season, and we constantly want to say, okay, what were the things that we went out to go accomplish? Did we accomplish them? What are areas that we need to improve? Address those, and bring more clarity to those areas, and keep on kind of turning the page each day. That's what we know we have to do here. We're not entitled to, just because we win 3, we're not entitled to win 4. And we know that we just have to sort of turn the page each day and constantly work to get better and better.
Go ahead.
Yeah, BJ, Charlotte are one of the, if not the best defensive team in MLS over the past couple of years. I know you're familiar with Tim Ream from the national team, but just their personnel and kind of the way they play. What do you make of their defense, and what do you think has kind of lent itself to being such a solid team?
Yeah, they're just really well organized, well coached, good, a good group, very hard block to break down, cohesive, compact, quality players. When you look at just even starting from the goalkeeper, the development that Clean has had is, he's a great, has a great season last year, off to a good season this year. Tim Ream is consummate pro, leads that back line. Young player Malanda, excellent, and then, you got 2 really strong, I would say almost unheralded type of players in the midfield, Westwood and Bronico. They do so much work for that team, and they drive that team with their energy and their commitment, their leadership, and then they have a front 4 that's committed defensively, but man, dynamic players on the counter as well. So I think that threat also helps their defense, because you have to be a little bit cautious, knowing that if you turn the ball over, they have the ability to beat you very quickly with great, I would say, with speed and with quality. And so for us, it's a team that we are preparing for, a lot, because it's going to be a difficult match.
And then just looking back at the Cincinnati game, and I guess some of the other games too, it feels like a lot of the chances you guys create come when either Sam or Hani starts centrally and pulls out wide, and then you have one of the wingers kind of shift in centrally and kind of take up that space. I'm curious, I know you talked about wanting to establish a structure and kind of clear principles. How do you balance having that kind of structure while also kind of trying to allow for maybe some more moments of improvisation, or allowing that fluidity kind of on the fly in the game?
Yeah, I think for us, it's not about who takes up positions on the field. It's just that the positions on the field are taken up, and I think that gives us that blend of structure and understanding, where creating connections and close connections with one another, but allowing players to work, whether it's in twos and threes, to interchange, with the whole idea of trying to disorganize and unbalance the opponent. So for us, again, it's about, can we attract opponents, can we unbalance them, can we shift them from side to side, and find those moments to either play through them, or if there's space behind, play behind them, and less about the forward stands here, the attacking mid stands here, but more about, these are positions on the field that need to be taken up, and learning how to recognize that amongst each other.
Go ahead, Miller.
Hey BJ, sorry I joined in a little late, so if you've already answered this, please just let me know. But Julian Gaines was not included due to injury, and also I just was curious about Brian Acosta, his injury as well. Any updates there for those two?
Yeah, sure. Julian Gaines is out. Yes, injured. And then Brian Acosta will still be out. Very close to, I would say, returning to team training, but has not returned to team training. So both of those players will be out this weekend.
Good. All right. Anything else in the room, guys? Lauren,
Yeah,
go ahead.
one more. What have you liked about the way Eddi has really controlled the midfield and maybe fit into the role you imagined for him, or created his own in that way?
That's a good question. Yeah, we obviously started sort of playing on the right-hand side as we were dealing with some injuries, and we've been able to transition him into sort of the center midfield. I think for us, he gives us a really good balance. A player that is comfortable on the ball, progressing the ball, passing forward, but at the same time as we advance the ball up the field, he's quick to get us compact in the opponent half, tremendous at winning second balls, and sort of sustaining attacks for us. So for us, he's really a key component. Whether we're between the boxes, he's a key player, and I think his added is his energy and his the ground that he's covering, and just sort of the intensity that he plays with. It's infectious, and it makes everybody else around him better.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back with Eddi.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Everyone good? All right, we're back with Nashville SC midfielder Eddi Tagseth. Eddi, team is heading to North Carolina this weekend, looking to win its second straight road match. If you want to talk about how training has gone this week, what you expect to see from Charlotte, and then also you've been with Nashville and in MLS for 6 matches now, so if you want to just share some of what your experience so far has been like, that'd be great.
Yeah, training's been good. We, of course, had a disappointing loss at the weekend, and just as quick as possible trying to get back to training good and focusing on the next game against a good opponent. So it's been a good week. We know what to do. We know what they're gonna bring as well. So it's gonna be a tough away game again, but we know that we can win away games. And yeah, for me, 6 games in my Nashville career, it's been great. I think I've taken steps as a player, and we've taken steps as a team, and that's what's most important for me.
Great, thanks, Eddi. We'll start with Lauren, and go ahead and ask 2 again if you have them.
I'm curious your experience with the weather last night into today. I would imagine you haven't experienced many tornado warnings, if any, in the places you've lived and played. What was that like for you?
Yeah, that was the first one. Got woken up in the middle of the night by my phone, my two phones actually. So first I didn't know what was going on, and then I read the warning. It was a tornado warning, and a little scary, but fortunately it went okay, and got into training today, and a lot of people were looking a bit tired. I think it kept some of us awake during the night, but yeah, it happens, and but it was my first time, so a little scary.
Was that something you were prepared for, kind of like knew was an element of the Nashville weather scene?
Not gonna lie, I wasn't too prepared, but I knew there's a chance that it can happen in this part of the country, part of the world, and it's just something you deal with when it happens. I think it's something that might happen again, and yeah, that's then it's gonna be something I've learned from, and then yeah, hopefully it won't happen again tomorrow or something. I don't want it to happen every day, but it was a different experience for sure.
Ben?
Yeah, Eddi, BJ has talked a lot about wanting to be process-oriented instead of result-oriented. So I'm curious from that perspective. Obviously, the result against Cincinnati wasn't what you guys wanted, but how do you evaluate it from maybe a process perspective?
Yeah, I think if you look at the result and the performance, I'd say we deserved more than 0 points. But at the same time, there's moments in a game there where they did better than us, which got them 3 points. But I think if you look at the whole game, you can see we've taken steps in many areas, even though there's lots of things that has to improve and needs to improve for us to win more games and be more solid. But I think during these 6 games start of the season, we've improved every week, and that's maybe the most important thing, because the results will come.
And then I know you've played in the center of midfield a ton before, so I know this role isn't new for you. But I'm curious what the transition from starting the season out on the wing and now moving more centrally, and what have those partnerships with Patrick and with Gaston been like for you?
Yeah, it's 2 different roles. I'm maybe more used to the one I'm playing more now in the 6th and the 10/winger. But you know, I'd play anywhere if it's to help the team, and I feel like I'm helping the team at number 6 where I'm playing now, with my energy, with my movement and on the ball and stuff like that. And I felt that I also helped the team when I played number 10. But I like where I'm playing now, and I feel the partnership with both Paddy and Gaston has been good. They're really good players. I think all of us 3 have different qualities that can help the team, and it's just about finding the right combination.
We'll go ahead and go to the Zoom. We'll start with Jacob, and go ahead and ask 2 if you have them.
Yeah, Eddi, I guess through your first 6 games in MLS, has there been anything that's surprised you about the team, about your team, the league, that maybe you didn't expect coming in? Has there been anything new for you? I guess what would that be?
I think before I came here, I was almost like thinking I have to be ready for everything, and haven't seen a lot of MLS games before, because I have to go to bed in the evening, and the games were in the night, so I only seen highlights and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm impressed by the level of players, the level of physicality. I knew it was going to be a tough challenge, and I knew I had to be ready. That it could be tough for me in the beginning, and it has been tough. It's different from Norway, different from England, where I was when I was younger. But it's been really good, and I also feel like it's a league and and Nashville is a team where I can be the best player I can be and the best version of myself, and I'm really happy about the start and how it's been.
Yeah, how do you talked a little bit about the process, I guess, versus the results, but how do you, as a player, mentally stick with the process? I mean, how hard is that day to day, and what are you doing as a team, I guess, to continue to look into that?
I think for me personally, it's been from the start a plan and a vision that I've really just gotten into, and I don't know how to put it, almost like agreed with. I known from previous years in football that when you find a style of play and a vision that you think is good and you stick with it even during tough times, it's gonna come out really good on the other side. So I think the whole team now is really how should I say, positive to the way we play, the way we want to attack games, and just the whole style of play we want in Nashville. And I think that's gonna help us in the future, that we just stick with it. And yeah, even though we lose a game or two, it's not gonna change what we think.
And then in terms of off the pitch, I guess, similar to the earlier question, has there been any surprises to living in America off the pitch?
Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a surprise. Other than that, it's all still a bit new. It's exciting. I just remember even the first days after I moved, I was just looking forward to seeing all the new things. I was even looking forward going to Walmart. It was just, everything was exciting and big, and still is. So I'm just trying to get to know the city and getting used to everything.
John?
Yeah, it looks like just about every game, looking at the numbers afterwards, you've gone 7 or 8 miles out there and generally seem to lead the team. As that, I should say, you don't have the longest legs on the team. So how do you attribute the ability to cover so much ground out there regularly?
I just always been a player who runs a lot. I know the legs are short. I have to take 10 steps while others take 3. But it's just the way I play. I don't think it's ever gonna change. I've actually heard sometimes I run too much, and I think that's better than running too little. So sometimes I have to maybe be more smart with the running and run smarter. But I think the way I play, it's something I'm not going to change, and I think the energy that comes with it is important, and that's the way I like playing. So I'm gonna continue doing that.
Sure, and maybe just a follow on that. Has stamina, has that always been a strength for you? As far as you can go back in your career, have you always been able to run like that, or is that something that's improved in recent years?
I think I've always had it, but I think it's improved in a way that I can maybe do it at higher speed and maybe last the full 90 minutes doing the same thing. When I was younger, I wasn't really a defending player. I was more dribbling, more attacking. But I could still dribble and attack for 90 minutes, so it's changed a little bit. But yeah, stamina is definitely one of my strengths, and it has been for a while.
Lauren, Ben, anything else?
Okay.
All right, thanks so much, Eddi. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That would be interesting. Yeah. What's he done? We got a little more dynamic, get some next week. He's got 3 different types of holes. He's up to the end. And butt kicks in. Yes, hey. Wait, there you got it. Shift him. Hey. Yes. Yes, hey. Come here.